You ever stand in a room full of glass and feel like the only thing about to shatter is you? I'm Elise Harper, Chief Architect, was Chief Architect at Neuralcore, a Seattle AI firm where ambition sparkles brighter than the Puget Sound. Picture me in our boardroom, all sleek chrome and ego, pitching my algorithm to a Chicago client. It was my masterpiece, a neural net that could outsmart Wall Street. The client's CEO was eating it up, pen tapping like he was ready to sign millions. Then my laptop pinged. One email. Subject: urgent role termination notification. Have you ever felt a blade slide in but kept smiling? I didn't flinch. I nodded, finished the pitch, and sealed the deal. Inside, though, my chest burned like a server overheating. The email was from Maureen, my boss, who'd called me indispensable for 5 years. Redundancy, she wrote. Redundant. My code was neural core's spine. Across the table, Derek, my so-called partner, avoided my eyes, his smile slick as a used car salesman's. I saw it then, he'd pitched my algorithm as his own. A memory hit high school, a science fair, some kid stealing my project, my teacher shrugging. Prove it, he'd said. I did, and I would again. My fingers brushed my gear necklace, a habit from my first coding gig, grounding me. How do you keep standing when your world's rewritten without you? I walked out of that boardroom past ping-pong tables and fake startup cheer, the email's words like acid: no severance, no reason, just leave by noon. Neuralcore's open plan office screamed Seattle tech, kombucha taps, hoodies, dreams of IPOs, but it was a viper's nest. I'd poured a decade into those servers, my late nights fueling their stock price. Now they thought they could delete me. But I had Cipher Lock, a failsafe I'd buried in the system after a rival stole my early designs. It was my ace, my silent rebellion. Could I use it to expose Derek's theft? Maureen's betrayal without torching my own future? The risk was a tightrope, but I've always walked those. What do you do when the system you built turns on you? This wasn't about a paycheck, it was about truth. As I stepped into the elevator, Seattle's skyline pulsing below, I felt it, a spark of satisfaction. They'd written me off, but I was the architect, and architects don't just build, they design the fall. Back at my desk, that email stared at me like a glitch I couldn't debug. 13 minutes until security would play bouncer. My office was my sanctuary, code printouts tacked up like battle plans, a lone fern mocking the fluorescent buzz. I hovered over the keyboard, then typed a command. A folder blinked onto the screen: Cipher Lock. I'd built it 2 years ago after a rival firm swiped my designs, a ghost in Neuralcore's servers watching, waiting. Now it was my sword. They thought they could erase me, but I'm the pulse in their machine. I packed my things, a photo of my niece grinning at a science fair, a dog-eared coding manual, my silver gear necklace tucked into my pocket. A memory crashed in high school, my science project stolen by a teammate, the teacher's shrug. Prove it next time, he'd said. I'd spent my life proving it, and Derek's betrayal was just another thief in a nicer suit. His coffee runs, his we're a team, speeches they were a Trojan horse, Maureen's knife cut deeper. She'd mentored me, toasted my promotions, then signed my execution. When did loyalty become their bug? The open plan office hummed outside, coders clacking away, oblivious to the axe that had just fallen. I activated Cipher Lock's diagnostic mode, a quiet probe to sniff out their lies. My phone buzzed, Nora, Maureen's assistant. I'm sorry, I didn't have a choice. My jaw clenched. No choice, I'd find out what that meant. Security's footsteps echoed down the hall, their radios crackling. I logged out my plan, a spark in the dark. This wasn't over. It was just booting up. Seattle's rain was waiting outside, and so was my next move. That night in my Capitol Hill apartment, the rain was a drumbeat against my windows. My personal laptop glowed, a VPN cloaking me as I slipped into Neuralcore's servers. Derek's email was child's play. His password was his dog's name, for God's sake. What I found hit like a power surge: emails to Maureen, him claiming my algorithm as his. Her reply, laying out a plan to sell it to a rival firm for a 7-figure bonus. My coffee went cold, untouched. They traded my life's work for a paycheck. I remembered Derek's grin during our all-nighters, calling my algorithm our baby. I'd shared my breakthroughs, laughed at his dumb puns, trusted him. My mistake. I dug into Maureen's private server, my fingers shaking not from fear, but rage. There it was. Nora had falsified project logs to paint me as dead weight, but her emails to Maureen were desperate. You said no one would get hurt. Nora was a pawn, scared, trapped. Betrayal's a chain and I'll snap every link. Then a twist landed like a brick. Maureen wasn't just greedy, she was covering an embezzlement, siphoning funds for years, using the algorithm sale to plug the hole. My anger cooled into focus. I saved the emails, encrypted them, and set Cipher Lock to shadow Derek's every move. The city's lights flickered through the rain, and I felt it a shift like a program finally compiling. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about tearing down their house of lies line by line. I met Nora in a Fremont cafe, the espresso's bite grounding me. Her eyes darted, her napkin shredded in her hands. They threatened my job, she whispered. Maureen said it was just paperwork. I slid her a USB with their emails. Help me and you're free. Her nod was shaky, but it was enough. Justice starts with those who choose to stand. My plan was surgical. Cipher Lock would hijack the board meeting's live stream, splashing Derek and Maureen's emails for all to see, board investors, ex-users. I coded a delay, syncing it to the meeting's peak. Back home, I fine-tuned the script, adding safeguards to shield innocent coders' jobs. A memory of my niece's voice. Aunt Elise, you make things fair, kept my hands steady. Doubt crept in, though. What if this tanked the whole company? Was my justice worth their layoffs? Revenge shouldn't burn the whole house down. I tightened the code, targeting only executive accounts. Nora's job was simple. Swap the meeting's USB with mine. I taught her a bypass code, testing her spine. My gear necklace glinted as I worked a talisman from my first coding win. A client's email pinged praising my algorithm's demo. My algorithm, not Derek's, not Maureen's. The board meeting was in 3 days, and I could already see Derek's smirk crumbling, Maureen's poise fracturing. The plan was a tightrope, but I'd walked worse. Seattle's fog rolled in, and my resolve locked into place. I wasn't just fighting, I was rewriting their ending. 2 days before the board meeting, Derek's paranoia hit like a system crash. He ordered an audit, their probe sniffing too close to Cipher Lock. I worked from a co-working space, VPN up my screen, a battlefield. Their commands grazed my fail-safe's shell and my heart thudded. But I'm no rookie. I rerouted their scans to a decoy server, a digital mirage I'd prepped. Fear's just code you haven't debugged. Nora's texts were frantic. They're watching me and her nerves were a glitch in my plan. I coached her to play it cool but trust. That's a tightrope. My dad, a mechanic, taught me to trust tools, not doubts. Cipher Lock was solid. Nora was the variable. I hacked the audit team's chat, planting a fake phishing scare. They bit chasing ghosts. But I needed insurance. Late that night, I slipped into Neural Core's server room. My old badge still worked, their sloppiness, my edge. A guard's flashlight swept close and I froze. Breath shallow, my gear necklace cold against my skin. One misstep and I'm exposed. I uploaded a backup trigger for Cipher Lock, then slipped out. Seattle's fog my cloak. Nora's next text was steadier, I'm in. I exhaled, but the audit wasn't over. Derek's suspicion was a virus, and I had to stay one step ahead. The board meeting loomed, and I could almost hear the hum of justice booting up. The board meeting was Neural Core's Super Bowl, all suits and live-streamed swagger. I watched from my apartment, a burner laptop streaming the feed. Nora had swapped the USB and Cipher Lock was primed. At 10:03 a.m., it struck. The presentation screen flickered, then blazed with Derek and Maureen's emails, their plan to sell my algorithm, their lies about my redundancy. Gasps echoed through the feed. I leaned forward, my coffee untouched. Then Derek stood, his voice sharp. Nora did this. She's been leaking data. My stomach dropped. Betrayal cuts deeper when it's layered. He'd known Nora was involved, how? He was scapegoating her to save himself. I hadn't seen that coming. Nora's face on the stream was pale, her eyes darting. A memory hit my niece, scared after a school bully blamed her for a prank. I couldn't let Nora take the fall. My fingers flew, escalating Cipher Lock's second phase. Derek's accounts locked, his laptop screen flashing access denied. The boardroom descended into chaos. Maureen's voice shrill, demanding control. The guilty always scramble when the truth boots up. I sent Nora a text, "Stay calm, you're covered." But my confidence wobbled. Derek's ruthlessness was a variable I'd miscalculated. The client's CEO, watching remotely, emailed me, "Is this your work?" I didn't reply, but his question was a spark. The world was watching, and I wasn't done rewriting the code. I wasn't there for the boardroom meltdown, but I felt it through the live stream's static. Maureen's poise cracked, Derek's excuses drowned in the board's outrage. I triggered Cipher Lock's final act, a pre-recorded video, my face calm, my voice steel. "This is Elise Harper. The algorithm you're selling, it's mine." These emails proved Derek stole it, and Maureen enabled him to cover her embezzlement. The screen cut to their messages, irrefutable. "Justice tastes sweetest when the guilty choke on it." Investors pulled out, the stock ticker plummeted, and Twitter sorry X lit up with "had neural core fraud." Derek tried to deflect, claiming I'd hacked illegally, but Cipher Lock was clean, untraceable, my signature erased like I'd never been there. Maureen stormed out her resignation, tweeted an hour later. "A memory of her first praise, Elise. You're our future," twisted like a bad line of code. I felt satisfaction, sharp and clean, but heavy too. Had I burned too much? My gear necklace was warm in my hand, grounding me. The truth doesn't negotiate, but it leaves scars. Nora texted, "Thank you." She was safe, her role hidden. The Chicago client emailed again, offering a partnership. I didn't smile, but I felt the shift. The machine was breaking, and I was the one turning the gears. Neural Core didn't survive the month. Headlines screamed fraud. Regulators swarmed. Derek faced lawsuits, his LinkedIn a ghost town. Maureen vanished, her name poison. I didn't dance on their graves. I built instead. With the Chicago client's backing, I launched my own startup, Code Haven, a tech firm rooted in transparency. Nora joined me, her guilt replaced by fire. We hired the best from Neural Core's wreckage, coders who'd been pawns like me. From their ashes, I forged my empire. I learned justice isn't just tearing down, it's creating something stronger. My niece visited Codehaven's office, her eyes wide at the servers I'd named after her drawings. A memory of my dad fixing engines hit me. "Build what lasts, Elise." I had. I kept a USB from my old desk, a relic of the fight. You can't delete what's etched in code. Seattle's skyline still glitters, but now it's mine. I rewrote the rules, and the satisfaction, it's not loud. It's not. It's the hum of a system running clean, built by hands they tried to erase. I stand here not on their ruins, but on my own foundation. Codehaven's servers hum, a testament to truth over betrayal. Justice is the code you write when the world tries to delete you. They thought I was redundant, but I was the rewrite, quiet, like water deep, like code fierce, like a storm no one sees coming. What will you build when they try to break you? Share your story. Let's code a world where truth wins. Thank you for hearing mine.